Warning: the audio that you are about to listen to is genuine and was not created for any clickbait or engagement farming purposes. If you happen to enjoy it, then that's just a reflection of your own personal intelligence. You've been warned. This is just some genuine insight on dealing with difficult people or outright negative or nasty people. It's just some insight for anybody that can take whatever you can take from it. I don't think I'm trying to teach anything in particular with this one. It's just general insight, general talk on the topic of just dealing with either adversity or extremely difficult and negative people. Personally, I've kind of reached a point where I've experienced so much and so much negativity from people um, that it literally just reached a threshold. There's a max. It's like no matter what anybody does to me at this point, it doesn't touch me more than about 20%. And 20% is the max. On average, it's like 15%, sometimes it's 10% or less. And the max is 20%. That's the most anybody, what they do can touch me or move me. And a certain part of me actually intentionally keep at least that much in there. If I really wanted to, I can make it probably down to, average 10%. But I intentionally like to keep it at 20 because it's actually very useful energy. I call it free gas. You know, I already have my own gas. I can already afford my own gas, but this is just free gas. There is definitely energy. Dark energy is real, and it's an extremely powerful force. In fact, I like to call it playing chicken with the sun. You and honestly, I wouldn't personally recommend that to most people because it can overtake you. It can get a hold of you, and if you don't know how to manage yourself, it can overtake you. And then you could spill out into God knows where. So I personally wouldn't advise that to most people unless I know them personally and I see that, yeah, okay, you can handle that. Be careful with it. It's like playing with fire. It's playing chicken with the sun. But for most people, I wouldn't advise that because most people don't know how to control themselves. But most people do it anyway, which is probably why the world is so chaotic because they don't know how to handle themselves. If you're familiar with the Indian mystic Sadhguru, if you're in the spiritual world, I'm pretty sure you heard of him. The name of his program is what? Inner engineering. He's teaching you how to engineer yourself, basically how to manage yourself, your inner system, so you don't go flying off the rails, but yet you can drive really fast and live an exuberant life. That's extremely similar to what I'm talking about with that dark energy, is learning how to effectively channel that. And it could really fuel you. But back to my main point, I've been through so much that at the very max, it can only touch me 20%. It's like the Dollar Tree when it was actually the Dollar Tree and everything in the store was $1. It's like no matter, whether something is valued at $5, $8, or whatever, at the max, you're only going to pay $1. And that's the point that I've reached because I've been through so much and experienced so much with so much people so fast that I'm just at the point where you can't move me more than 20%. That is my threshold. For anybody that's familiar with audio engineering, that's the threshold. When you set the threshold at 20%, any sound that go past 20%, the threshold brings it back to 20%. And that's where I'm at with this because, I actually thought about it. And it's funny because the only adversity that I really experience in my life, for the most part, is at the hands of other people. And I'm just being genuine. This is not I don't make videos for clickbait purposes. I don't know. I'm being just genuine, being real, being transparent, being down to earth. And I thought about it. And the super vast majority, I'm talking like high 90% of anything that I deal with, any BS that I ever had to deal with, was at the hands or outcome of another person. And I'm not victimizing myself. I'm just speaking, whether it was a fallout, a mutual fallout, a misunderstanding, which usually tend to happen. Yeah, especially with highly spiritual people, whether it was a misunderstanding or whether it was just outright maliciousness on their behalf. I thought about it, that any adversity that I experience is always at the hands of other people. So I'm at the point now where, at the very most, you can't touch me more than 20%. It's not going to move me. It's not going to sway me more than 20%. 20% is the max. That's the max. Most things probably float around 10%-ish. If it's a little extreme, at the max, it's only going to touch me at 20%. So this is just a little insight for anybody else that understands what I'm saying. I know this is a little out there. It's a little somewhat of an abstract type of conversation, an abstract idea, an abstract ideal. Again, this was just to provide insight for whoever is willing to listen, whoever can gather whatever kind of pieces you can gather from this, whatever it's worth to you, whatever it means to you. It's just insight. I wasn't really going anywhere particular with this one, but I just really genuinely wanted to communicate that because that's what my content is about. It's extremely genuine, extremely real. I'm not doing this for farming or clickbait purposes. I'm just being human. May God bless you.